It was doubtful the animals could have run much faster anyway. Grass was scarce on the tundra. The horses had been slowly starving ever since they left the Daemron forest. With only 4 mounts among the 5 riders, Scythe and Keegan had been doubling up for the journey, though even together they were less of a burden than Nor. Jared had been careful to rotate the riders so that no one animal was overtaxed, but without food to replenish their strength, it was a losing battle. The monk focused his mental energies, casting out with his second sight to try to get an image of the hunters, but it was difficult to form a clear picture. In the Daemron forest, the lingering aura of old magic clouded his vision. Here his vision was also limited, but in a very different way. Though the Order tried to keep it a secret, the monks drew on chaos as much as any witch or wizard, but instead of unleashing it upon the world, they internalized it, using it to heighten their perception and awareness of their surroundings, drawing on it to give them fantastic speed, strength, and endurance, even calling on it in battle to anticipate and counter the moves of an opponent before they happened. Chaos on the plains of the frozen east was weak and thin, like the air atop a mountain peak that left the lungs gasping and straining for breath. He'd heard many theories as to why chaos was weak here, but none had ever made much sense. But the why mattered little to him now. All he cared about was how it was affecting him. Everything was harder than it should have been. His body was slower and grew tired too quickly. He was unable to regulate his body's temperature properly, causing him to shiver with the growing chill of the night. His all-encompassing sight was restricted to a radius of only a few hundred yards, and instead of being instinctual, he had to concentrate to keep the world around him from dissolving into gray emptiness. That was why he hadn't noticed the hunters before. He'd only become aware of them after slipping into a state of deep meditation, when they stopped for the night. A half-dozen inquisitors traveling on foot, picking their way across the tundra as they followed the trail left by the horses' hooves in the soft ground. Like Jared, they would be limited by the lack of chaos, but though the inquisitors were lessened, the monks would still be more than a match for him and his companions, especially with Keegan still weakened from his battle with the dragon. With a flick of his heels, he urged his horse forward, moving from the back of the line past Keegan and Scythe, past the Daemron prince, and up beside Nor. Jared had hoped his familiarity with the land might give them an advantage over their pursuers, but it was clear that even with their barbarian guide, it wouldn't be long before the hunt came to an end.
"They're getting closer,"
Nor said, as Jared's mount came level with his own. His words were more statement than question. "Our pursuers travel faster on foot than we can on horseback," Jared answered.
"The same can be said of my people,"
Nor agreed.
"Horses are ill-suited for this land."
"Good! I'm tired of running,"
Scythe called out. The horse carrying her and Keegan had fallen a few lengths behind the others, but in the still night their words had carried far enough for her to hear their conversation. She was sitting in front of the young wizard, her hands on the reins while he rode behind, his arms wrapped loosely around her waist to keep his balance.
"Let's send these dweller bastards running back to the forest," she continued. "No offense,"
she added, with a nod toward Vaaler as she drew up beside him. "It's not the Daemron chasing us," Jared corrected. "It's the Order. Inquisitors." "How many?" Keegan asked, poking his head over Scythe's shoulder to be heard. 6. Nor laughed.
"Ha ha ha! 6. Is that all? That's barely enough for us to work up a sweat."
"These aren't simple mercenaries," Jared cautioned. "Your people are not born with chaos in their blood, so the Order has never had reason to venture into your land. You have no idea what the Inquisitors are capable of."
"I've heard the stories,"
Scythe interjected.
"Their reputation always seemed a little overblown to me."
"It's not," Vaaler chimed in, lending his support to Jared.
"How would you know?"
she chided.
"The Order wants to eradicate my people. We'd be fools not to study them so we can separate fact from fiction. And the martial prowess of the Inquisitors is very real."
"Remember how easily I defeated you in the tavern?" Jared reminded Nor. "The Inquisitors have similar training."
"You just caught me off guard,"
Nor protested, though his words lacked conviction.
"Do we have any chance of beating them?"